Hey everyone, welcome to my channel Favored Life. My name is Favor and today I'll be revealing the stats and extracurriculars that got me into every school I apply to. First, I just wanted to say that in making this video, I am in no way trying to brag or flex or anything. I've just seen this video made a lot of times and I've had this video requested of me to make, so I just wanted to make that and to share with you all. Secondly, I wanted to say that these stats alone are not what got me into all the schools I apply to. I'm a strong believer that your stats and your scores earn you consideration in your applicant pool, and they tell the admissions officers if you're prepared for the rigor of their college classes. But at the end of the day, admissions officers admit people and not numbers, and you communicate the type of person you are through your essays. When I was applying to colleges, having these stats gave me one less thing to worry about, so I wasn't worried if my scores were too low or anything, but at the same time, these stats didn't really increase my confidence level that I would get in. Thirdly, I do not want to discourage anyone from applying to top colleges by sharing these scores. Even if you have lower scores, I full-heartedly encourage you to apply to all the schools of your dreams. Your essays and your stories and your letters of recommendation can overshadow any low scores you have. So if your heart is set on applying to a top school, don't let this video discourage you. Finally, I just want to give God all the glory for these stats I'm about to share. I thank Him for favoring me throughout my high school journey and enabling me to achieve this success. Because without Him, I wouldn't be here talking about how I was able to get into every school I applied to with these stats. One of the things that I think made me stand out the most was the fact that I'm an early graduate. I graduated high school 1 full year early due to an advanced math progression that started when I was in elementary school. Now, do you need to graduate early to stand out? Of course not. There are other and easier ways to stand out in your college applications than graduating early. Graduating early was just something that I wanted to do and something that worked for me. I plan to make a video on how and why I graduated early and whether I think it was worth it. I also moved to another state in the middle of my freshman year of high school and had to complete my freshman year through an online class. I basically had a little over a year at my current high school to be in clubs and develop leadership positions and develop relationships with my teachers. I think this is the main stat that was impressive. The fact that I was an early grad and had only spent a little over a year at my current high school, yet had participated in a lot of clubs that I put on my application and had leadership positions and had good enough relationships with my teachers to have really good letters of recommendation. I think my circumstances worked out in my favor, but it very easily could have gone the other way. I think I was able to make the most out of my situation, and that's really what colleges are looking for. Taking the initiative and having the drive to make the most out of any situation you're in, whether it's an easy one or a difficult one. Okay. Finally, the moment we've all been waiting for, my stats. So first I'm going to start by talking about the SAT and the ACT. I took both the SAT and the ACT, but I only submitted my ACT scores. So I took the SAT in the April of my second year of high school because that was the school SAT that my school had all juniors taking. So even though technically I was a sophomore, I still took that SAT. I got a 1540 composite, which was a 790 on the math section and a 750 on the evidence-based reading and writing section. I actually liked the format of the SAT better than the ACT, and I wanted to focus on raising my SAT score. I wanted to take both the SAT and SAT subject tests, and since they're offered on the same day, I wouldn't have enough chances to raise my score for each of them. So I decided to focus on raising my score for the ACT. I took the ACT a total of 3 times. The first time I took the ACT, I was 11 years old and I was in 6th grade, and it was part of a talent search program. So I don't really think anyone needs to start preparing for the ACT when they're in elementary or middle school, but it's just something I did. So on that ACT, I got a 24 composite, which was a 22 on the English section, a 26 on the math section, a 25 on the reading section, and a 22 on the science section. The second time I took the ACT was the summer after my freshman year of high school. I got a 33 composite, which was what I was aiming for. The subscores for that were 35 on the English section, a 34 on the math section, a 30 on the reading section, and a 31 on the science section. So the last time I took the ACT and the actual scores I submitted to colleges was the summer after my second year of high school and right before my last year of high school when I was applying to colleges. So July of 2019. I got a 36 composite and I was ecstatic because I really was aiming for that perfect score. The breakdown for the subscores were a 35 for English, 35 for math, 36 for reading, and 36 for science. For this ACT, I also did the writing section, and I wasn't too proud of my score because I hadn't really studied that much for the writing section, and up to that point, I had only taken up to sophomore English, and I hadn't done any upper level English classes, so I got an 8 out of 12 on the writing section. But I'm so happy to report that my writing skills have improved over the past year, and I took both AP English classes the last year. Stay tuned in July when I'll be making a 2020 AP exam reaction video to find out how I did on those exams and more. Moving on to SAT subject tests. So when I was making my college list, I realized that many of the schools that I was going to be applying to required or recommended taking 2 subject tests. I decided to take the math level 2 subject tests and the chemistry subject tests, and I took both twice. The first time I got a 760 on the math level 2 and a 660 on the chemistry, and the second time I got an 800 on the math level 2 and a 720 on the chemistry. My advice when it comes to which subject test to take is to first look at your college list and figure out which schools require what. Most of my schools wanted 2 subject tests, but they didn't really care as to which specific subject tests they were. MIT in particular, just to give an example, they wanted 1 math and 1 science subject test. Unless your schools say specifically which subject test they want you to take, I recommend taking ones in subjects that you feel you're very prepared in and that you know very well, and maybe also that have to do with the major that you're going to be applying for. Okay, on to GPA. So the school I graduated from calculated GPA on a 100-based scale and rewarded 5 extra points for honors or pre-AP classes and 8 extra points for AP or dual credit classes. My GPA when I was applying to colleges was a 101.25. My GPA on a 4-point scale was a 3.99. I got 1 A- in high school. On a 5-point weighted scale, my GPA was a 4.45. I got 1 A- in high school, and if you're interested in finding out which class that was in, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned because I'll be making a video on my transcript and what classes I took in high school. On to APs. I took a total of 16 AP classes in my high school career, 8 of which I took in my last year of high school, so I had scores for 8 when I was applying to colleges. I started taking AP exams when I was in 7th grade due to the advanced math progression I had mentioned earlier. You do not need to start taking AP exams in middle school to get into colleges or to stand out. It's just what happened to fit into my academic career. So in 2016, I took AP Stats and I got a 5. In 2017, I was in 8th grade. I took AP Calculus BC and I got a 5 with a AB subscore of a 5. In 2018, which was my freshman year of high school, I took 3 AP exams. I took AP Computer Science Principles. I got a 5. I took AP Computer Science A. I also got a 5. And I self-studied and took AP Calculus AB and got a 5 as well, because I just wanted to rank up the number of AP exams I had to get those AP Scholar Awards. And since I had taken BC the year before, I just wanted to take the AB exam. In my sophomore year of high school, 2019, I took 3 AP exams. I took AP World History and I got a 5. I took AP Environmental Science, so I got a 5. And I took AP Physics 1, in which I got a 4. So those were all the AP scores that I reported to colleges. And in my last year of high school, I took 8 more AP exams, which were AP English Language and Composition, AP English Literature and Composition, AP Art History, AP US History, AP Physics C Mechanics, AP Physics C Electricity and Magnetism, AP Microeconomics, and AP US Government and Politics. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned in July when I'll be making my reaction video to those AP scores. Last but certainly not least, my extracurriculars. So I'm just going to be talking about the ones that made it onto my application and not all the ones I participated in throughout my high school career. But before I get into that, I just wanted to share my thoughts on extracurriculars. I really think it's not about how many extracurriculars you have, but about the quality of them and how much time you've invested in them. I think it's better to invest a lot of time in a fewer extracurriculars and become an active member, or maybe even a leader, and win some awards, than a very passive member in a lot of extracurriculars. Colleges are looking for passion and commitment. Also, I don't think any one extracurricular is better than another. You should invest in your time in things you're actually interested in, so you'll want to spend many hours in that extracurricular, and so that it won't feel like a burden going to meetings. You'll do much better in extracurriculars you're passionate about than extracurriculars you're doing simply because they'll look good on a college app. On my college apps, it asked me how many hours and weeks and what years in high school you participated in your extracurriculars. So colleges will know if you're in extracurriculars for the quality of them or the quantity of them. When you're passionate about extracurriculars, they're also a great subject matter for essays. Finally, this is what I was interested in and what worked for me, not necessarily what works for anyone. Like I said before, I don't think any one extracurricular is better than another. It's really what you invest and put into your extracurriculars and how that passion comes across. There's nothing special about these combination of ECs that somehow got me into every school I applied to. Rather, it was my passion and dedication to them that shined through. On my MIT application, there was only room for 4 extracurriculars, so the ones I put on there were competitive gymnastics. I did this all throughout high school. It was one of my main ECs that made it into some of my essays even. I spent about 12 hours per week working on gymnastics. I won a state championship title on the balance beam, which is something I made sure to put in the awards section of my applications. The next activity I put was my community service in the form of volunteering at my church and being a teen leader in the youth ministry. This was also one of my main activities, in which I helped organize events and meetings, motivating and promoting and empowering fellow teens to be lights in their community. I was also a praise and worship leader and volunteer teacher in the children's ministry. Next, I put math team, which is something I did throughout high school. I served as math team co-captain and helped organize and lead some practices and helped my team members as we competed in meets. The last thing I put on my MIT application for activities was peer tutoring. I also did this throughout high school. And first I was part of a tutoring club at my old high school that partnered with teachers during a time called core out of the week that was spent on enrichment. So we would go to different classes and tutor students that needed extra help. In my sophomore year of high school, after I'd moved, I served as a TA for a calculus teacher and helped tutor calculus students on Saturdays. And then I also tutored my peers weekly as they asked for it and needed it. On my Common App, there was room for 10 activities, and I filled 9 of them. I really do not think it's necessary to fill out all 10 activities or even 9 like I did, because like I said, colleges are really looking for quality over quantity of extracurriculars. In addition to the 4 activities that I already discussed, I put down baking. I put it down mostly because I wasn't able to put baking into all my supplemental essays for each college, but baking was something that I really wanted to come across my application. So if I could have put it in the supplemental essays for each and every college, I would not have put it on my activities list. The next activity I put down was work experience. I worked as an assistant coach at my gymnastics gym. After I injured myself, I started coaching recreational gymnastics to younger kids, and I really enjoyed working with the little ones. On the Common App, I put TAing as a separate activity from peer tutoring. So peer tutoring I put as one of the first 4, and then I put TAing as an additional activity. I also put my participation in French NHS. I was the secretary in my last year of high school, and we promoted cultural diversity within our school by organizing service events while promoting French culture. The last thing I put on my activities list was that I was a member of a team at my school that traveled to a sustainability summit in Chicago. After that summit, we came back to school and we worked as a team to promote sustainability at our school. Our biggest project was successfully implementing all-source recycling when previously our school only recycled paper. I did a lot of other activities in high school that didn't make it to any of my college applications, such as competitive theater and piano, which I had done for many years prior to high school, but I had stopped in my freshman year because I got busy with moving and trying to graduate in 3 years. I also participated in Earth Club for a year and French Club and Quiz Bowl for 2 years. I didn't put these on my application because I didn't feel like I had a sustained commitment to these activities, and I didn't really do all that much in some of these activities, and I overall felt that they weren't huge parts of my life. I really wanted to emphasize the quality of my activities over the quantity of my activities, which is part of why I could have filled out that 10th spot in my activities list on the Common App, but I didn't. I was also in both National Honor Society and Science NHS, which I didn't put in my activities section, but I did make sure to put those in my awards and honors section. If you want me to go over the rest of my awards and honors that I put on my application, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll think about it and probably make a video on it too. That is it for today's video. The biggest takeaway that I want you to leave this video with is just do you, because at the end of the day, you need to make the best out of your high school career. And you don't want to be miserable in high school. You want to spend your time doing things that you like doing. So find those extracurriculars that you love doing and that it's not even a burden at all to go to the meetings, but you're so excited to go to the meetings and commit your time to it. And don't feel that high school is all about the stats and the scores, because the extracurriculars are just as important. You do not need to be studying for your standardized tests all the time, but you do need to take time for yourself for your extracurriculars, both of which go into your college application. So make sure to do a good balance of that. Let me know if you want me to do specific videos of going over my applications for specific schools. Like I can go over my whole MIT application or my whole Harvard application. Just let me know what you want to see in those comments down below. If you liked today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like today's video, and leave a comment down below of suggestions of other videos you'd like me to see. Okay, turn the video. Wait. Like, comment, subscribe. I think it's better to invest a lot of time. Okay. This is horrible, but